Thank you, Greg. I want to just say it is good to see a good turnout. I was at a very similar meeting on Friday that was scheduled, and the only two people that showed up were two trustees. So I was able to give them a nice education on taxation and property valuation. And I had two willing students, which was nice, and it gave me good practice for this one. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Yoder. I have been your Trumbull County Auditor for a grand total of a little over 7 months. And I kind of walked into a lot of fun stuff. I tell people I'm drinking from a fire hose because I'm learning so much about county government and about being the auditor. My background was that for 29 years, I ran a small business. I had an agency that provided residential care for adults with developmental disabilities. So I had a background in, the financial part of that. I'm finding a lot of things that I had in my old previous life are very helpful in my new one. And I also was a trustee in Farmington Township for 4 years. So I've been where Greg is, trying to talk people into taking money out of their pockets. And so I understand Greg's position. And I get it, and I understand a little bit. I understood a lot, I thought, about property taxes and things like that. But the more you know, the less you realize you know. The more you learn, the less you realize you know. But one of the things that I walked into I was in the middle of a 6-year mass reappraisal. And so this was actually started, I'm going to get to the PowerPoint about it, but this was actually started at the end of 21. So it was started before I came in. It's done with an outside vendor because we have more than 144,000 parcels in Trumbull County. We could not appraise those with a staff of our size, so you have to use an outside vendor. This outside vendor is someone who has been used before for us, and actually because we're on like a rotating schedule with other counties for the 6-year mass reappraisal, they've done a lot. They do a lot in northeastern Ohio. They actually they've also been on the same schedule doing Mahoning County, but they do Ashtabula County as well as several others. So as I said, we are in the middle of a 6-year, or close to the end of a 6-year mass reappraisal. That's performed every 6 years by statute. Now, there's also, because a lot of people get confused, I thought it was every 3 years. Well, the mass reappraisal is every 6 years. In another 3 years, in 2026, we'll do what's called a triennial, and that's a less comprehensive review. They don't go to every single property. They update things based on the state, what the state says, because the state also will come in and say, your values have gone up this much, and so you need to kind of bring them up close to that. They don't have to be equal with it, but they do need to be close to that. So that's the triennial. And but right now we're at this mass reappraisal, this sometimes called the sexennial or the 6-year reappraisal, and that's done. Every single property is looked at. That's why it had to start at 21, 144,000 parcels. You can imagine it takes a lot of time. Now, it's not as extensive as what we would get a fee appraisal, which is what you get when you're buying a house, or sometimes you'll pay for one for other reasons, but it's not as extensive as that. It's not, nobody's going inside your house, they're just visiting your property. It's really, really, really market-based. So anybody who has not been in a coma for the last 3 years knows that the market has gone crazy. I think if you haven't participated in the market, you know somebody who did, right? You know people who put their house on the market at 10 o'clock in the morning and sold it by noon. You know people who went in to got in a bidding war with somebody and paid $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 over asking, right? So that's driving the prices up. A rule of the free market is something's worth what people will pay for it, right? So your market value is worth what somebody will pay for it. We're trying to get what we do, or what our appraisers have done, is based on market value. As I said, ours was in process when I took office. It's done by an outside entity. The tentative values are now complete, as you may have read in the paper, and they're still tentative. Those are not finalized. They won't be finalized for a while yet. but their tentative values are complete and they're available online on our website. Now you can go right to the website and there's a place to click where it says, find out more about values, and it takes you to a page that explains a little bit about what I've already said. Goes into a little bit more detail, and then also takes you, then from there you go to our property search site, which is a third-party site from ours. You can go, if you're used to going to the property search site, you can go to that and search your property, and your tentative value will come up right on that property card. But we like for people to kind of click through because there isn't information there. And one of the great things that's on there that I think might be helpful for people who want to take a little deeper dive into how property taxes work, there's a link that says Understanding Property Taxes. That is a great one to look at. It's a PowerPoint. It's done by an auditor down in Greene County named David Graham. He does an excellent job explaining this. It's helped me learn how to explain it. So there's things, sometimes you know something, but you don't know how to tell somebody about it. That's what it's been helpful for me, and I just find it really helpful. I have a lot of folks on our staff who are trying to explain this to people that call in. I'm having them use it as a training so that they can understand it better. But it's good for anybody to learn. As I said, our tentative values are complete. They're on the website. And what we're doing right now is scheduling informal reviews. So you go to your property and you go, oh my, right? This is wrong. This can't be right. You can come in and we'll go over with you. Our appraisers will have the appraisers from Integrity who does our appraisals. They will review how we kind of came up with that. If there's something that's happened, and we've had folks we've had reviews scheduled that we've actually had folks cancel because we were able to figure it out over the phone without doing a review. We had one in particular where there was a demo that had taken place. And either we hadn't gotten it because, again, it's got started in 21. So it was a recent demo and we didn't have it. The appraisers didn't have it. All we had to do was correct it and we're on our way. We didn't even need to do a hearing on that one or a review on that one. We'll do those reviews. We've got 2 weeks blocked out to do that starting next week. And then the following week, I think it's a short week for us because it's Veterans Day. We have 3 of the 4. We'll probably add the 4th day if things can keep going, and I'm talking to people so things do keep going. We also will, if we need to, we'll jump to the end of November. That last week in November, we'll do a week of meetings there if we need to. And we'll add, but that's what we have set aside. That's what Integrity has set aside for us at this point. So you can do that. The other thing is if you want to wait and see what happens with your property taxes, you get your tax bill and you go, oh, I don't know. You can contest your value, not your taxes, but your value at that point. And that's done through what we call the Board of Revision. There's a formal complaint. All of that is also on our website. The forms are there. And you would do a formal complaint. Our appraisers and I will review it, along with someone from the Treasurer's Office as well. We'll review that and we'll schedule a hearing, and you can come in and make your case at that point. Yes, ma'am?
What if there's an actual error in the description of your property?
Well, and you can come in for the review of that, or you can call in and talk to somebody.
It might be able to be resolved over the phone.
It might be able to be resolved over the phone. We are trying to steer people to reviews, but if it's something simple, we do try to resolve it.
It is something simple.
Right.
But it would affect the tax.
Right, and it may or may not, but our appraiser will be able to tell you that.
All right, so that first phone number, that 2895 is
Right.
the number to call?
Right, you can call that. You'll get the person who's scheduling him, and if you say, I'm not sure if I need a hearing, could I talk to an appraiser? She'll connect you with an appraiser.
Very good.
All right?